My ass is public. It's all public domain. Slut.
Hey, no slut shaming on here, especially from you.
No.
Hello! Welcome back to What's the Safe Word? I'm Ann.
I'm Jack.
And today we're going to talk about HIV. Ooh. Yeah, not as funny as most of our other topics, but still a very serious topic that we want to talk about, and we thought who better to bring on than Jack. You know a little bit.
Hashtag AIDS.
Getting right out there.
Yeah.
So what do you do? Where's your background as far as AIDS and HIV?
Well, I have been HIV positive since I was 20, and now I'm 46. I was on Project Runway long ago. I talked about my status publicly, and that led to like a whole new career. Currently, I'm the Senior Communications Officer at MSNGF, which is a global HIV/AIDS nonprofit.
And so would you say that being openly HIV positive have changed how you approached being open about that?
I changed my career. I was in fashion design for 17 years, and then I came out about my status. I weighed the two options. Do I want to go back into fashion design? And I think what I do now is kind of more important for our community.
Yeah, and just having someone out there, like almost like a role model, helps people to come out all the time and just be more comfortable about their own status and their bodies and their sexuality.
Agreed.
So how do you think safe sex has been redefined recently?
Safe sex has been redefined. There's a few options. One is condoms, which have been around forever. Treatment as prevention is sort of a new terminology, which means if you're HIV positive like myself and you're taking ARV treatment and you maintain an undetectable status, then it's been shown scientifically that you cannot transmit HIV. So treatment as prevention. And then the newest thing, of course, is PrEP, a drug called Truvada, which HIV negative guys take. It's been around for 10 or so years, and it works virtually 100% of the time and keeps people HIV negative.
A lot of people and gays nowadays talk about Truvada and PrEP, and they're very much like, well, this is a great new drug, it's just starting to take off. So why do you think it's been kind of a more recent option for gay people?
Well, Truvada's PrEP was only approved by the FDA, I think 3 years ago. It was a study done independently, not by Gilead, who makes Truvada, that figured out that it actually does work prophylactically. I think there was a stigma for a while that there was some slut shaming. My opinion on the whole thing is condoms have been around since the beginning of the AIDS epidemic, and for the last 30-something years, the HIV transmission rate has just increased. So condoms aren't working. It's just been shown that gay men in general don't have a great track record of using condoms all the time, and it's like 100% of the time. And actually, condoms aren't even approved for anal sex by the FDA. If I was HIV negative, I would run and get PrEP. It's a simple pill. It's they just came out with a study that says it's basically as safe as aspirin. Side effects are minimal, and I've been on it for 10 years as part of my treatment, and I'm healthy as a horse or whore or whatever. I can speak from experience. I've had no side effects. A lot of my friends have had no side effects. And actually, there have been studies that show that once you stop, any sort of side effects go away. The World Health Organization recommends any men who have sex with men at significant risk, which is a very broad term, should be on PrEP. So I think they should just dispense it in gumball machines or whatever. I'm not poo-pooing condoms. You can still use condoms. There's other STIs. People do blame a lot the increased rates of other STIs on PrEP, and that the people are having more unprotected sex, but it's sort of been shown that the other STI rates were on the rise prior to PrEP.
Yeah.
People say, oh, condoms for other STIs. Well, gonorrhea, syphilis, chlamydia, herpes, they're all contracted orally as well. So I don't know anyone that uses a condom for oral sex. And if I do, I don't want anything to do with them.
So I'm not HIV positive. What would you say to someone who might have just found out that they're HIV positive, or they want to talk to their friends? How do you coach someone that's just learning this about themselves?
I get a lot of, I'm very accessible on social media, so I get a lot of questions. I'm very accessible in general. I'm an all access kind of girl. I usually tell people, I'm really surprised now when people come to me asking questions and they're freaking out when they find out. But it's totally understandable, even though the medications are really great now, and the prognosis is if you get on medication right when you're diagnosed, your lifespan is unaffected. You'll live a totally healthy life. So I've had 25 years to get really comfortable talking about it.
Sure.
So for new people, I always say, it sounds cliche, but honesty is the best policy. Like, having a secret will just eat you up. I know people have different circumstances that, like, job stuff, their governments are hostile, a lot of things that are prevent that. I also say lead with what you want back. So I'm unapologetic about my HIV status. I'm like, it's not a big thing, it's whatever. There's a lot of HIV positive people. Like, the statistics are something like 1 out of 5 in any major city, like New York, San Francisco, 1 out of 5 gay men are HIV positive, and like a large portion of them don't necessarily know it. So there's a lot of HIV positive people around that you know. And I always just say, like, if you treat it like it's not a big deal, people are gonna sort of respond back the same way other places, but that's sort of my recommendation. It's like, just try to educate yourself, know what the treatments are, and like know what your prognosis is, get really okay with that.
Sure.
And then tell the truth.
And educate other people in the
Yeah,
process.
totally. And that's the thing, in the broader spectrum, I really advocate for HIV positive people who especially are comfortable with their status to talk about it openly, because that's how we change the social opinion. It's like with gay marriage, it's like we all started to come out and then everyone realized that they had a gay friend or a gay brother or a gay sister. Every single HIV positive person in this nation came out all at once. We'd be like, oh, this is like a lot of people. The more we keep it secret and the more we don't want to talk about it, it becomes a sort of weird taboo that people are ashamed of.
The more stigmatized it
Yeah.
becomes.
But the other thing I always say too is no one can make you feel shame. Only you can own that. So I just don't live with shame. I'm like, that. I'm too old. It's like not worth it. So like, if you want to try to shame me or say like you're not worth it because you have this or you're this because you're a big old sloppy bottom, I'm like, well, you. I don't care. I'm amazing.
So what about people that look at PrEP or Truvada or whatever you want to call it, and they say, well, that's too expensive, I don't have health care, or I'm not covered for that?
I think if you want PrEP in the US, you can get it. You have to be forceful with your healthcare provider, because a lot of them aren't educated the way they should be and aren't promoting it. Most insurance companies now are paying for it. If they don't, Gilead I know has a subsidized plan where people that don't have insurance can get PrEP, I think for free, depending on your economic situation.
So there are tons of programs though for people that they can get onto, and we'll link down to the Gilead.
Yeah.
Jesus, it's like the Iliad, but with the G. With PrEP and just STs in general, how often do you recommend, not as a professional, but just as someone who's around this environment a lot, how often do you recommend getting tested? We're not professionals.
Yeah, I mean, I think one of the best resources we have now is just HIV testing, and everyone should know their status. So I would say more is better. Like, I know people that get tested every month. I think every 3 months is a good. The other thing I think is great about the whole PrEP movement is that it gets HIV negative guys into the healthcare system in a new way and into the HIV conversation, where before, I think it was sort of like, okay, here's HIV positive people and here's HIV negative people. We're like two separate groups. The HIV negative people are trying not to become the HIV positive people, and now it's very clear that like we're not so dissimilar.
Sure.
Undetectable HIV positive guys are super safe, and negative guys on PrEP are super safe. It's like the guys that aren't on PrEP and that think they're negative and aren't sure, that's like the gray area. The other thing I think is great is that to get PrEP, you have to, are you on PrEP? Yeah, so you have to know, you have to get checked, and you have to get checked every 3 months, get your blood work done and make sure everything's working and get screened for other STIs. So I think in general, it just makes our community a lot healthier.
And a lot more informed, because people are going in, they're asking questions, they're actually learning about PrEP and HIV and all these other STDs that they could come across, because I feel that sometimes the younger guys just getting into sex and they don't always know what everything is. I know when I dated an HIV positive guy years ago, I had no idea what it meant. He was very open about it and I appreciated that, but it was very startling. You were surprised. You didn't really know how to react to that.
Right.
But what I did is I sat down and I read out, laid it all out and said, undetectable guys are not any different from a normal person.
Right.
That's something that's really important to say, is even if you're positive, you have HIV, that doesn't change who you are. That doesn't change. You take a pill or more a day, and you're still the same person. You still have sex the same way.
Yeah. And you asked about, people that are newly diagnosed. I always tell them that, because that's one thing that they fear is like, I'm gonna be unlovable and nobody's gonna wanna have sex with me and like my love life is over. But it's like, listen, if you're on medication and you're undetectable, you're not gonna transmit the virus to anyone. And I think that's an important information for someone to have, and boosts your self-confidence when you're really in a vulnerable place.
And even more so, someone that can't understand that you being incredibly open and very honest about that makes you not only a more honest person in general, but you probably are going to be an easier person to date or go on and have sex with, because you are level-headed, you're open about who you are and what you enjoy.
Right.
And I think that that's just a healthy relationship in general.
Totally. Secrets aren't helpful in relationships in general.
No. So Jack, where can people go if they have more questions, or they want to follow you, or they just want to see you naked?
I'm Jack Mackenroth on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook.
Oh, okay.
My ass is public. It's all public domain.
Slut.
Hey, no slut shaming on here, especially from you.
No, there's no such thing. Slut shaming is not a thing. Slut pride.
Yeah.
There you go. So thank you so much for coming on, Jack.
Yeah,
we
my
really
pleasure.
appreciated your opinions. Whether you're having sex with condoms, without condoms, on PrEP, off PrEP, HIV positive or negative, always have a safe word. And today's safe word, Jack, is
Beehive.
because bees. Not the bees.
Not the bees!
If you guys have any questions for us down below, let us know. Leave a like to the video, and we will see you guys next time.
Peace
Bye.
out. The topic's a little less amusing than anal douching, but I was wondering when you were going to get your fucking shower hose. I'm like, tell me we're not stopping at Fleet Enemas.
No.
Because that's amateur shit right there. Like, literally.